what do you need to become an AI developer? I mean, artificial intelligence expert. All right, let's talk about that. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, the world is moving towards that area. What do you need to do to get onto that track? First of all, data. Artificial intelligence feeds on data. Without data, we are nothing. Data is anything that can be used to infer information. How old you are, what your name is, when you were born, how much you earn, where you go every day, what you did last night, what you like, what you don't like. These are data. What I can do with that is to predict your life pattern, to predict your behavior, to predict where you're going to be next time, to predict the stock market, to predict what people want, and so on and so forth. So get data, transform that to information that can be useful for decision making, and there you are, AI. If the computer can do that, then of course, why do we need human beings, right? So there you go. So the first thing you must learn is how to collect data discreetly, how to collect data automatically, and how to collect plenty of data. How to see jargons and say, yeah, I've got some data, because the future belongs to those who see data where others see jargons, right? Now, you need to start by learning Python program. That's what you can use to scrape the web. That's what you can use to get data through any means. So we have two types of collection of data. We have the implicit and the explicit. So with the explicit, people know you're asking them for data and they give it to you. Can you fill this questionnaire for me, please? Can you fill that form for us, please? Explicit, they know. But the problem is when people know you're collecting data from them, they might want to say, well, I don't know where it's going to go, so I'm not going to say the truth. I'm going to lie about it. For example, someone gave me a questionnaire some time ago for a pharmaceutical research, asking where I buy my drugs, what kind of drugs I buy, what I like. Do you buy some kind of drugs when you need to, or do you rather have it supplied to your house? Now, you might not want to be too honest with such questionnaires because you don't know who's going to get it. But if there's a way they can get this information without asking you the question, implicit, that's the way. All right, so if you want undiluted data, truth, ground truth, you must learn to collect it implicitly. For example, people say, oh, I don't know how WhatsApp is dealing with my data. They're taking things from me. Oh, that's because everything you do regularly, they are listening, isn't it? So that's what you're fearing about. So yeah, but that way they get pure fact, what you like, what you don't like. If you're probably let me not go into that, okay? But if you have some special medical needs and you're googling about it, they know. They can easily know. But if they give you a form to fill and say, would you like to buy this kind of drug? You're like, oh no, I don't want it. I don't need that. All right. So you need to learn to write a code that collects data implicitly from all sources, and that's the first thing in artificial intelligence: web scraping, IP masking, web development models, and so on. Now we move on to machine learning. When you get this data, how do you deal with that? And by the way, I forgot to mention that when it comes to data analysis, you're collecting data, you are cleaning data, you're visualizing data, representing data in the best form, okay? So managers can actually understand what data they have, and you're also trying to help them, make sense of the data going on to machine learning. So you need to be able to do two things, either of two things: supervised learning or non-supervised learning. Supervised learning is when you train a machine learning model to actually understand the mathematical relationship between the cause and the effect. So take for instance, unemployment is going up or down. What's the cause? Perhaps number of graduates, perhaps number of companies, perhaps amount of taxes we're getting out of the kitty and stuff like that. If we can develop a mathematical algorithm that says, if you know this, and this, then you can predict that, then there we have it, a machine learning model. But to do that, you must learn to collect so much data in your data set. Try to run through the algorithm, run your algorithm through that until you achieve the least error of prediction. Now, when you want to be sure you have achieved the least error, you must test the data. So you must always have a training data set and a testing data set. Now, once you're confident that the accuracy is great, you go on to say you have a machine learning model of this and that accuracy. Companies use that to predict what to supply to the market, to predict what to keep in stock for the rainy days. They use that to predict, things like who to promote in the office, what to pay the workers to make them happy, and things like that, so that everybody is making the right and the best decisions without human factors involved. Now let's move on from that. So let's talk about the next step, which is non-supervised learning. Non-supervised learning is that you don't want to train a data set to be able to predict one thing. Rather, you are training a data set so it can actually understand the relationship amongst different things. So I get 3 people in a room right now, and I'm not sure where they are from. Okay, I'm not sure whether they are northerners or southerners or easterners. Or let's say I get 20 people in a room, and I don't even know that we have northerners or easterners or anything like that. All I want to know is what's common to any of them. So I say, hey, what language do you speak? You speak Yoruba, you speak Hausa, you speak Igbo, you speak Yoruba, you speak Hausa. All right, all of you that speak Yoruba to that side, all of you that speak Hausa to that side, Igbo to the other side. In a way, I'm already categorizing the data set. Now, I might say, okay, how many of you like rice? You might find out that all those who speak Hausa like rice. Oh, that's good. So it lets you understand some hidden pattern amongst your data set. So non-supervised does not tell you we're predicting this, but it lets you know what and what are related. So that whenever a new person comes into the room, you can easily say, what do you like to eat? Rice. What language do you speak? Hausa. All right, go there. That's where you go. And that way everybody's making the right decision in terms of grouping and categorizing. So clustering, all of that. Awesome stuff. But we don't stop there, okay? That's just basic machine learning. You don't stop there. To become an AI developer, you must go on further to what we call advanced machine learning. You must do things like recommender systems, which Amazon and Netflix, YouTube, they all use that. Recommender systems is one. Time series forecasting, another. I'll leave you to Google all that by yourself. Reinforcement learning, another one. Now, when you learn all of this, you're great. You're now an actual machine learning expert. But you don't stop at machine learning. I mean, who stops there? Deep learning is there for you. Neural networks, go onto it and learn how to make predictions of things that are almost not related, or things that might not seem to be related. So go as far as computer vision, object detection, face recognition, posture detection, and so on, human activity detection. That's a lot of neural network applications because it uses a lot of hidden layers. And you might also want to go into natural language processing, allowing you to infer information from written text or convert text to speech in the right context. The thing with natural language processing is that it's mainly useful to make use of TensorFlow or any Google API because these guys have all the data, they have all the libraries you need. Natural language processing requires a lot of data, and you can be very sure with Google Translation, with Google, we always give them that data. Whenever you say, hello Google, okay Google, it's learning your action, it's optimizing its performance, and that is what we need. We don't really have much of that, but Google has got you covered, so hey. Finally, I must say that the field of AI is broad, it's developing, it's actually fast developing, so there is no particular leader, there is no particular certifier, there is no particular body that is regulating any of this. Countries are trying to regulate data sharing, trying to regulate the use of people's data. There's the ethics behind it, the question about the ethics behind it. There is also the issue of, how far can we go to say we now have super general artificial intelligence and so on and so forth. So it's a wide scope right now. My point is this: you can learn AI anywhere and become an expert. There is no world global body that can certify you. Anyone who trains you certifies you. How long you learn on the training is up to you. Some learn for 3 hours and that's all, and they believe they're now experts. Some learn for more than that. But the deeper you go, the better and the more reliable you can be as an AI expert. I would advise you also take some courses in web development for deployment of machine learning models, okay, things like Django, Flask, and so on, so that you can actually not just be an expert, but you can actually be an industrial expert, someone who can deploy these things out there. All right, so think about it. The world is wide enough. We can have as many as we can, but unfortunately, we don't have many AI developers. So you might want to think about it. Cheers. Bye-bye.